Hello, my fellow PlayStation citizens. This is the State of PlayStation Union. Man, that does not roll off the tongue well, does it? Anyway, so in this video, I don't really have a script for this. This is just an idea I had to discuss. How is PlayStation doing? Are you okay, PlayStation? Have you taken your shots? Have you taken your pills? That's the real question here today, boys and girls. So PlayStation, the PlayStation 5 has been, honestly, one of my favorite console generations I've ever been a part of. I've had a PlayStation 5 since day one. I got it back in 2020. I was one of the lucky few who got it at launch. And I've really enjoyed everything I've played on it. Like, genuinely. I think pretty much every exclusive, besides a small few, have hit the mark and have been quite exceptional. The ones I'm going to discuss in this video are the ones that are cut above the rest, but I think the future of PlayStation 5 is looking strong, especially with the increase in RAM prices. I think we're going to have the PlayStation 5 a little bit longer than we expected. I think the PS6 might get delayed. So if you thought the PlayStation 5 was a short and bad run for a current gen console, well, guess what? We might get a few more years and we might get a few more games. But I don't think those things. I think the PlayStation 5 has been quite good for what it's been, and I've really enjoyed my time with it. One of the major things I love about the PS5 is its software. I love its OS. I think it's way better than previous PlayStations, and it gets across the navigation much easier, right? I also like the focus on 3D audio as well as immersive features, like the haptics on the controller and the better audio with the I forget what they called the audio engine, Tempest 3D audio, which is just a ripoff of Dolby Atmos, but it's still nice. And the advantage of the PlayStation is it's hardware-based 3D audio, so it's not like software. Like a lot of Dolby Atmos solutions are software-based, where they run on top of like a streaming box, or on the Xbox it's an application that runs on the Xbox's OS. On the PS5, there is a dedicated bit of hardware that decodes the 3D audio better for your setup, for your headphones or for your TV setup. So that's cool. The main issue people have with the PS5 right now is the games, the software. There's not been as many as like PS4 or PS3, but I actually contest that point, and I'll explain why. The launch of the PS5 was one of the best launches. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this, but I truly believe it's one of the best PlayStation launches in the company's history. The software after launch was slower. That's the main thing. After launch, games slowed down. That I cannot disagree with anyone on. After around 2022, after Horizon Forbidden West comes out, the software lineup slows down to almost one game a year. Like 2022, after Horizon, it's God of War Ragnarok. The next year, it's Spider-Man. The next year, it's Astrobot. And the next year, we only get two, which is Yote and Death Stranding 2. But both of those are great games, and all the games they've released have been quality. It's just the quantity is lacking, right? So, but here's the thing people forget. The PS4 generation did not have as many games as people remember. The launch of the PS4, the hardware was amazing, right? But the software was shit. People always forget that. The PS4 launched with fucking Knack. It launched with Knack. No one's playing Knack. No one played Knack back then, and no one's playing it goddamn now. Okay? And on top of that, it launched with another Guerrilla game, not Horizon, but it launched with Killzone Shadowfall, which killed the Killzone series. No pun intended. Tip your waitresses after that one. But yeah, both of them not really showpieces. Well, Killzone was a good visual showpiece, but it was an awful game. Now compare that with the PS5 launch lineup, right? PS5 had Demon's Souls. Now, it's a remake of an older game, but the thing is, it's already a core. At its core, it's a good game, and it can showcase the visual architecture that the PS5 is built on, right? Which is ray tracing, better visual quality, and better frame rates. That's the whole pitch of the PS5. Is 60 FPS, 30 FPS. 30 FPS is a thing of the past. Let's get performance modes in there, right? That's one of the major pitches the PS5 had, was better performance for your PS4 and older games, but also with the flexibility of a new generation with better storage architecture and better CPU and better GPU. That's one of the major pitches of the PlayStation 5. And I thought that game was a great showpiece. Also, Spider-Man Miles Morales, while it was a cross-gen release, what I liked about Miles Morales is it showed what the PS5 was going to do, which was high-quality first-party games that ran better than anywhere else on the PS5. And on top of that, the PS5 was not just the best place to play them. They looked amazing, and you didn't need to play them on PC. If you had a PS5, you're like, this is a good enough experience. Which was the first time with a console I ever felt like, you know what? I'm not missing much if I play this on PC. Yes, on PC I'll get probably, like, let's say I'm playing Indiana Jones, right? Indiana Jones, I'm going to get path tracing on a PC. I'm not going to get that on a console. I'm going to get better lumen on a PC. But when I'm playing Indiana Jones on my PS5 or my PS5 Pro, it looks good enough that I don't feel like I need to play it on PC to get the full experience. With the Xbox One and the PS4, I consistently was thinking, man, I could be playing this on a much better piece of hardware if I just didn't play this on console. That was my main issue with the Xbox One and PS4. People always forget they were so underpowered even when they came out. The GPUs on the Xbox One and the PS4 were decent, but the CPUs were awful. They were, fun fact, the Jaguar AMD CPU that the Xbox One and the PS4 used was meant for fucking tablets. It was not meant for a console. So one of the reasons the Xbox One and the PS4 were cheaper when they came out is because the CPU was so shit that they were able to undercut a little bit more than usual. Because the RAM and the GPU were the main thing they were investing in on those consoles. The CPU was so bad, they were able to get more aggressive with the pricing, which I find also interesting. The PS4 being $400 is fascinating because they actually, the PS4, to my knowledge, is the first PlayStation where they made a profit at sale. It was only like $17 or $10, but the PS4, if you bought a PS4, Sony made a little bit of money on that thing, which is not how the console market usually goes. And part of the reason for that is that they cheaped down the CPU. And AMD, that was all they could do. AMD was in a very dark spot in their company's history back then. So I feel like the PS5 is doing better than most people think. I think it's actually a better piece of hardware and a better software lineup than people give it credit for. I've enjoyed everything I've played on it, except for 2 games, which would be Deathloop, which was a heavy disappointment as an exclusive. Heavily disappointed by that one. And I didn't like the new Final Fantasy. I think it was 16. I didn't like that one that much. I thought it was, I don't know, I didn't really show off the console's abilities, and I didn't think it was that fun. But besides that, everything else I played on it, solid as a rock. God of War Ragnarok being a highlight, Returnal being my favorite game on the console by far, bar none. Returnal is the most replayable game PlayStation has probably ever released, and that might be a hot take, but due to its difficulty, it always makes me come back even after I've gone pretty far in the game. I've never quite beaten Returnal because it's so damn difficult, but I always come back to it because I just want to feel that challenge and feel that energy that the gameplay loop gives, right? The PlayStation 5, while it's not perfect, it is just an amazing piece of hardware, right? Now, the future of PlayStation, the PlayStation 6, I'm not even concerned about. I'm not even going to talk about the PlayStation 6 in this video because I don't care, to be honest with you. It'll come out when it comes out. Just like Linkara's Mighty Morphin Power Rangers video. It'll be out when it's out, you know? You might not get that reference, viewers, but that's a good internet meme. Anyway, so and I think the PlayStation 5 still has a good few years in it, and I think the software is just going to continue to get better. With the announcement of the John Wick game, the God of War trilogy remake, which I'm very excited about, and Saros being only like 2 months away, and Saros is the next game by the Returnal devs, Housemarque. I think the future is more than promising for PlayStation, and I think the games are going to continue to impress going forward. Also, that new Naughty Dog game is like the first time I've ever been interested in a Naughty Dog game. I know this is a hot take. This is going to upset a lot of people. Was never a big fan of The Last of Us or Uncharted. Never really appealed to me. This Heretic Prophet, or whatever the hell it's called, Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, that's the title. It looks kind of interesting. I know that's a hot take. Most people do not want this game. I think it looks cool. I like the sci-fi retro shit. That's kind of my thing. That's my vibe with games. And by God, I really think that's going to be a killer app for me. And the fact that it's going to be Naughty Dog's most gameplay-driven game, which has been my whole problem with Naughty Dog games, I don't think they're that fun to play. I think they're fun to watch in cutscenes, but they're not fun to play. I'm very excited for Intergalactic. That's a day one for me. But anyway, gamers, thank you all for watching. This has been the State of the Union PlayStation Edition. Take care, and gamers, rise up.